What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top counters for the Reggie trio. With this Reggie trio being stowed upon us, a lot of people might be interested in doing the raids for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we're going to get a chance to get those shiny variations of these incredibly good Pokemon. Number two, we're also going to have the whole Colossal event going on, so if you do decide to take part in that, you are going to have to use your raid passes during a specific point in time, and unfortunately, it's only going to be that Reggie trio that will be going on as far as the legendary raid bosses are concerned. Now, to add a little bit to the complexity to this, we do have Pokemon that are going to be better in certain situations, so today, I'm going to be talking about the top counters on a per Reggie basis. But then I'm actually going to develop a thought process behind maybe doing just one team for all of them as opposed to just having individual ones, because you never know what is going to specifically spawn. Anyways, I hope you do enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Want to give a huge shout out to LeakDuck for creating all of these graphics. Always had some solid visualizations. We're going to go ahead and jump into Regirock. So as far as the counters are concerned, we're actually going to be seeing quite a bit of different typings where we have a steel type attacker, a water type attacker, a fighting type attacker, and then in some cases even a ground. So just a lot going on versus Regirock. A lot of flexibility going on with this, but some of the highlights that I wanted to kind of point out are definitely going to be something like the Community Day exclusive moves, where you have that going on with Metagross as well as Swampert. So this is a very good opportunity to get those Pokemon and get them out and use them in raids. Very excited specifically for Metagross with that Meteor Mash, just to be able to use this Pokemon and it, of course, to be in that #1 position. We also have some legendary Pokemon, so that is going to be cool as well if you have some of those powered up. It's time to show it off. And then finally, we actually have a Generation 5 Pokemon with Excadrill, so if you do already have yourself an Excadrill, consider using it versus a Regirock. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next Pokemon, and that's going to be Registeel. So Registeel, there's not going to be as much diversity for this one specifically. We have some fire type attackers going on, and then we have some fighting type, and that's pretty much going to be the best things that you do want to use. In this case, we have a Generation 5 Pokemon taking up that front spot with Chandelure. Although it is a great ghost type attacker, it's also an incredible fire type attacker. So Chandelure doing such a solid job. But beyond that, we do have a Community Day exclusive move out of Blaziken, so that's going to be pretty cool. And then we also have some legendary Pokemon to just kind of finish this out if you are interested in using some of those. I personally do have a 100% Moltres all the way powered up to level 40, so you can bet I do plan on using it if I end up going up against a Registeel. Now let's go ahead and move on to the third and final of the Reggie trio, Regice. So with Regice, we're going to see a little bit more flexibility where we have a steel type attacker, some fire types, and then finally we have the fighting type to kind of clean it up. So 3 different types kind of going on with this. And once again, in that #1 position, we do have Metagross, so I'm definitely liking this option, especially for being able to use that Meteor Mash. It will require Meteor Mash, by the way, to make it into this top 6. And then we also have Blaziken with that special Community Day move of Blast Burn. But like I said, we also have a situation where we have a Generation 5 Pokemon. And then we have some legendary Pokemon to kind of talk about. So a lot of really fun counters in this case, and we're not necessarily seeing a ton of repeats in this case. So as far as developing an overall team is concerned, I wanted to go ahead and bring them all up at once. That way we could go ahead and talk about it. But when you start looking through this list, you're starting to see like a lot of commonalities between them, and not necessarily a situation where you have, like, for example, all 3 in some cases. We have a lot of kind of 2s going on in many situations, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have one Pokemon in particular that actually manages to make it into the top 6 on all 3 of those bosses. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this to just make it a little bit easier. We have Machamp. So Machamp is going to be one of the common counters among all of them. And in most situations, you're not going to have anything that will be super effective against it. So if you were looking for a general team, I would personally consider using that Machamp as like the #1 option. And then secondly, if you want to use that Metagross, I would say go for it for sure. Only issue is going to be when you end up going up against Registeel, because of us using Steel-type moves, that's not going to be super effective. But in the other cases, we're talking about a Pokemon that takes the #1 position 2 times. That is a solid performance. And then regardless of that, if you do have a Chandelure, that could be solid as well. But you're not going to want to use it versus a Regirock. So there's a lot throughout this list, but I think it's good to kind of take a look at it this way. A lot of pairings where they're going to be good for 2 of the 3, not necessarily all of the 3, but if you were looking for the best general team, I would highly recommend going for Machamp at this point in time. So that just about wraps up the video. Let's go ahead and end on a question of the day. Which of the Reggie trio are you most excited about getting the shiny version of? For me, it is probably a tie between Regirock and Registeel, but I would absolutely love to know what you think about it in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.